Anyway.
So yeah, so I appreciate you guys taking out some time. I watched the film last night, and it was fun. So I guess it's called Love on the Amazon. So let's talk about the Amazon, if you guys don't mind. What was it like shooting on the boat?
Well, the whole thing was I mean, it feels like a fever dream now that we're, back in our lives and all, but the boat was one of the challenges that we faced being in the actual Amazon. We were really just it almost like we could have been picked up and dropped in the middle of the Amazon, and that's sort of the experience that we had. There's a lot that can go wrong when you're shooting in the middle of the jungle, but we really worked as a crew with the crew and as a group, and it ended up really being kind of an amazing experience for me.
Sure.
But
Yeah, it was definitely, something we'll remember. I mean, it very unique, like when do you go back to the actual Amazon to shoot a movie for 3 weeks? You know what I mean? Like it was great. It was obviously challenging in many ways, but we had a team of people who did a great job at taking care of us, and holding down the fort, and it was great. It was hot.
it
It
was
was
sticky. There were
yeah,
bugs.
yeah,
The sun is crazy in the Amazon. It
yeah,
burns your
yeah, yeah,
skin
yeah.
off. But like we were talking about with Rafael, like when you're in these kind of circumstances, the Amazon becomes a character, the boat becomes a character. Like every big thing that needs like logistics, you have to work with, and so it was also an interesting challenge to just make it work however we could.
Sure. And you mentioned bugs. I was going to ask if you had any interesting encounters with either animals or bugs.
Yes. I found a couple tarantulas specifically in my room, different occasions. And then there were just, I mean, I don't know how many cans of bug spray we went through, but there was just a lay at all times a layer of like this small film of bug repellent. There's a lot of bugs, but also because a lot of bugs, a lot of butterflies, which honestly, I can't remember the last time I've seen so many butterflies. So it's really like it's dangerous and beautiful at the same time.
Sure.
Definitely the wildlife aspect of it all was incredible. I
Mhm.
mean, we got to see pink dolphins, which I had always wanted to see, very briefly because they're very shy, but we saw them. We got to see monkeys, we got to see all different kinds of birds and
Iguanas and frogs.
iguanas and frog. Yeah, 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 everything. So that part was amazing.
And how about like the food and the culture? Because you guys seem to kind of go around, and I figured you guys were going to be eating everywhere and experiencing all the culture. It must have been pretty wild.
Yeah, the food is incredible. The food was, I mean, we because we were in sort of tight corners, we worked with a company that would bring us the food like on the boat specifically. They would take a little pique and bring the food, and across the board, the food is just wasn't like delicious, and yeah,
And
I
super
have a
fresh and
super fresh,
delicious
really healthy.
produce.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I left feeling really healthy and very good about myself. So that was great.
Yeah, it was
That's awesome.
delicious.
And so, JC, tell us about your relationship with books in the film.
Well, I think, the story of Claire is of this like for me it was like this child who in lost her mother young and sort of took on the responsibility of like having to raise herself. So did her sister. They raised each other. They had their dad, but so I think she sort of like made herself the responsible one and the one that would be home and omitted this like adventurous side that she might have had before her mom passed. And so the books were always an escape. She ended up making it into a career and she became a teacher but there are certain ways that we escape ourselves and reading is definitely like that choice that her exit, like her escape of predilection.
Sure, I get it. And Raphael, I guess tell us about what you enjoyed most about playing Danny.
Uh, Giving Claire a hard time.
Sarah JC.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess
I'm
both.
kidding.
Um, no, I mean, for real, definitely loved working with JC. Such a kind, generous, talented, fun, silly person. I love that part of playing Danny. Um, and then just the fact that he's such a, you know, generous
Mm.
guy and how he puts other people first. I mean, I definitely identified with that and how, you know, his family is such a huge part of his life and such a priority for him. And that's the reason why he, became a boat captain and decided to continue his dad's dream. I like that. I like the love of family.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then just the fact that
Such a
that
human
he
person, right?
yeah, that he may have, a harder exterior, but in reality he's, a softie, and he's kind and generous and cares.
That's definitely what I got out of it for sure. What would, how long was the shoot? How long were you guys there?
We were there 5 weeks
Oh
and
wow!
shot the movie in 17 days.
Holy crap!
I'm
That's a
I'm
long
pretty
time.
sure. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was only in August, but so
We
much
shot
time.
the movie in 15 days.
15. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so that was quick. There's a lot
yeah.
about, working with Hallmark. There's a lot that you're prepared to do because it's always sort of in a time crunch. But yeah, it was interesting going into this and knowing that we were going to like be met with so many challenges, and it really just flowed right through. I mean, we really made the best out of the situation and it ended up being like a blast. We all had a really great time and the crew was fantastic and I loved working with Rafael and yeah, I mean I want to go back. So
So you mentioned like one of the challenges. What would you say was like your biggest challenge, each of you, as a final question?
I think with movies like this, the biggest challenge that you that's obvious that you might face is comfort, right? Like it's tight corners, the weather's specific, the environment's different. You sometimes some people might not adjust to the food or, so it's little challenges, but they all sort of amount to this like big sort of like mountain that you have to climb. But if you're met with like a really competent crew, and the crew had worked together on many, many other movies, so they already had sort of like their own little ecosystem. So they just were really welcoming and they helped us like sort of work through it. And in the end, it wasn't, it's you can meet challenge with like with a spirit of conquering and like a positive attitude, or you can be beaten down by it. I think we had been sort of warned of the conditions of what it would be like to be actually in this actual situation of shooting in the middle of the jungle, and it went pretty smoothly. So it ended up being like a really rewarding experience.
Yeah,
So
filmmaking is a uh, it's teamwork. It's all about the team. It's all about the group of people. It's all about working together. And and this was a great team of people, and
Yeah.
that is everything, especially under uh, you know, like, wouldn't I don't know if I should call it extreme circumstances not circumstances but conditions. But they were intense, they were intense, and it was not comfortable a lot of the times. And I guess the challenge that I can pinpoint was just keeping that stamina and that energy,
Mhm.
it, throughout the day, because it's long hours when you're shooting a film, especially when you're doing it in 15 days, a full feature. So, come hour 10, in the sun and in the heat and in the jungle, and you're doing, take number 8, you're like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and we're having to like move things around because like the
mhm,
boat wasn't doing exactly what we wanted, and then it was
yeah.
raining and things like that. But
So you have to
uh,
be really patient, and you have to understand how to economize your energy and know, you have to pace yourself, but you have to know when to like give it all you got, and then when, like, in what parts you can like be a little bit more restrained. But it was great. It was great. It was truly and again, because of the team. The team was great, and a super well-oiled machine, and they had all worked together, and they all had a great relationship with each other, and it really helped us because we were the newbies in the team, and it went great. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was just gonna say, just to wrap up, you guys had some really good chemistry. Me and my wife were talking about it after watching it, and that's the first thing she said was that you guys had great chemistry. So I think it came through on the screen. I'm sure that's what you wanted.
yeah, I mean, I think we found chemistry immediately. We were good friends. I mean, it sort of was very organic from the beginning, and we were really hoping to infuse that in the evolution of their relationship. And I think, yeah, it works, and you get invested in the journey that they go through in terms of like how they relate to each other. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, and I again, I loved working with Rafael and I hope we do it again. So, it's
Yeah, it was a really good experience. I think from the get-go we were definitely on the same page, just as far as like our work ethic, and wanting to get together and work on our lines and our scenes, and sort of we it felt like we were a team, like when we wanted to rework something on the script. We joined forces and convinced our director that of our point of view and our perspective, or we really worked as a unit, and that's something that can happen or not. That's not a guarantee. Usually people are cast in part because of their chemistry, but in a world where, we don't have in-person chemistry reads anymore, and especially for this movie, like, we both got offers, like, separate. We didn't know each
Right.
other, so like that's
got
a
in the
gamble.
plane.
Yeah, so that's a gamble. You don't know how that's gonna go. But thankfully it went great, and we were on the same page from the get-go, and it was easy. It was so easy.
Yeah, yeah, we really fed off of each other, so it
Yeah.
was good.
Well, I definitely hope to see you guys again
Thank
in
you.
another one. And I just want to say congratulations on this movie. It comes out this Saturday, January 17th at 8 p.m. 8 p.m., I believe. Yep, 8 p.m.
Yep.
7 Central, yes.
So you guys have a great day. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Nice to
Thank you,
talk to you.
Mike.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Take care.
Bye.